Go to Infendo.com and join our Discord and ask us a question.
So connected to the world of Nintendo, even Link knows where to find us. Infendo Radio is on now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Infendo Radio, episode 600 and something. I skipped last week, so I don't remember what episode title this is, but I'm sure we're right around 653, 654, 655, something like that. I am joined by Eugene and Justin. Usual show, usual hosts. We're all back in the saddle tonight. Eugene, how you doing tonight? Where can the people find you?
Doing good, actually. People can go to Infendo.com if they want to find any of the stuff that's going on in Infendo land, and it's pretty much it, actually. So thank you. Ready to have a good show.
Yeah, have a good show. Well, Justin, how you doing tonight? Where can the people find you?
I am doing okay. Successfully fought off a migraine about an hour ago, so I was able to join the show today.
Good.
You can follow me on Twitter at InfendoJustin, and go to the DisneyParkBench.com to see what I'm doing there. Blogs and reviews and all sorts of exciting stuff.
All right. Well, we've got a bit of a show for you tonight. I have a feeling Change the System is going to steal the show this week. If your guys' has Change the Systems or anything like mine is, at least, because that's pretty much everything video game related that I've been up to is just all the myriad of games I've been playing. But a couple of little bits of things to get through here in the intro. So let's jump right into it, I guess. A couple of bits of news this week. Nothing major worth like celebrating or getting hyped for. But Justin, you actually posted that we're coming up on the Goldeneye 007 N64 anniversary date. And as with any anniversary, that spurs rumors of remakes and remasters and whatnot. So
yeah, so this is, I mean, obviously this rumor has been floating around for a long time. It was confirmed that Rare had developed, along with 4J Studios, a HD remaster of Goldeneye that was supposed to come out for the Xbox 360, but they couldn't get the licensing rights and never got officially released. And there have been rumors ever since, even before then, about it, some sort of remaster or something coming out. There were rumors a couple of years ago that never came to fruition, but now, a few months ago, on the official Microsoft Xbox website, somebody stumbled across, and I saw this with my own eyes, I can confirm this. Somebody stumbled across a list of achievements for a GoldenEye remaster. And again, I saw this, like, this isn't just rumors and speculation. I actually went on the website and I saw them. I shared it with you guys, which have since been taken down. And there was rumors that we'd see a release sometime, in the few months after that. Never happened. COVID probably had something to do with it. But now we're coming up on what would be the 25th anniversary of the game's original release.
perfect.
And yeah, and there was the achievements leak. Nintendo actually went out of their way to get the game unbanned in Germany. And wow. Yeah, I don't know whether there are other countries, but which is an odd thing for a Nintendo to do for a game that they have no plans of re-releasing. So yeah. All signs seem to be pointing to some kind of at least announcement before the end of the year, if not a stealth drop. But really, it's just one of those things that it's either going to happen or it's not. Not really. I don't know if it's really newsworthy, other than the fact that like Lucas it kind of introduced, we are coming up on the 25th anniversary, really big kind of thing to want to acknowledge. The code and the graphics and everything is already there, ready for them to just dump on the on the Xbox store, possibility of a simultaneous release either on Switch or at least on the Nintendo 64, you know, a Switch Online app. So yeah, I mean, what do y'all think? Like, are all signs pointing to this being inevitability, or is it just more, fuel on the rumor fire?
I'll tell you, if anything was gonna happen, I feel like an N64 online release would be kind of the easy win, right? Like, I mean, we're getting games on that, so
Yeah, I think it's tough, right? Because what is going to make all parties involved satisfied, right? Because there's so many companies, like Justin said, that have a stake in the license
Yep.
there. So like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what the
Well-
solution is. I think the only solution would be to release it everywhere, right? To make everybody happy.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that I think makes the licensing a little bit easier is the ownership of the Bond franchise was recently, through whatever acquisition, Amazon purchased. I don't know whether it was MGM or Eon Productions or somebody who holds the Bond license. So Amazon actually has the rights to the Bond license. Amazon also has a pretty close relationship with Microsoft for Game Pass and special offers and features. I've redeemed, like every month I get a bunch of money deposited in my Grand Theft Auto Online account because I linked my, Game Pass account to Amazon. So stuff like that. So it's possible that because ownership of the franchise has shifted hands, maybe it's moved to somebody who's a little more willing to see this happen. But yeah, like really, it's one of those things where we're not going to know until we know.
So we know. Yeah.
It's possible. I don't want to say likely, but it's possible that in the next month or so. I shouldn't be doing.
I was
this
gonna say.
live
I was
on
gonna
this.
say. Pop quiz. What is the actual date of the original release?
All right, so Goldeneye on the N64 was originally released on, August 25th, 1997. So we're about a week away from the possibility of something happening here.
Yeah, almost
And again,
a little soon. Kind of blows my N64 online theory out of the water because,
But one of the possibilities that the article that I read had talked about was because of COVID kind of delaying everything for the next few years and, things just kind of not falling. It could be instead of releasing it on the anniversary, they'll release a trailer or an announcement or something like that. That's entirely possible. And again, like the game itself, the HD remaster of the game itself is done. Like it's been done for about 10 years. It's been leaked online. There's a YouTuber, I want to say the name is like Galutrad or something like that, who has actually posted videos of playing the Xbox HD remaster and some kind of leak.
Howard Galutrad, the one that we hung out with.
No, not. Maybe it's not Galu.
I was gonna say that's impressive. Way to go, buddy.
It could. So of course you're gonna put me under the.
Of course, I'm gonna
under
put
the
you on the
spotlight
spot.
here.
Of course, I am. It's what I do. It's what we do here at Infendo Radio. We make Justin sweat a little bit. We stall for time while he's googling.
Okay. And I'm sorry for I did get the name wrong, but it was close. It's Graslu00. GRASLU00.
I really like the Freudian slip though that you went with Galutrad. Like his name is Slacker Monkey. No, actually it's Hacker Monkey, but
So I don't know. Maybe Eugene can edit that in the final podcast.
Fine.
But fine. Yeah. So again, it's Graslu00, GRASLU00 on YouTube. Got access to the source code of the Xbox Live HD remaster of GoldenEye and has posted videos of it. So it's out there. It exists. Now it's just a waiting game. Like, will it come out? Will it not? Will it be announced next week? Will it be released next week? We don't know. So I guess our big news for the week is no news whatsoever. But
well, I've got some more news, so it's all good.
Between the code existing and the achievements being leaked a few months ago and the anniversary coming up, like it's getting to that now or never sort of position.
For your sake, let's hope. See, I feel like I can empathize with you a little bit because I have been not so patiently awaiting. One of my favorite games is getting a remaster 9 years later, and I don't usually talk about this stuff on the air because I don't like to let my weeb show, but there is a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game that came out back on the PS3, and it's being remastered, and it comes out on the 2nd of next month. And I am pre-ordered. I am locked and loaded. Every morning I go on and I watch the character trailer. I'm like, oh, I think that voice line sounds better with the anime voice actor.
You have been sending many a trailer of that game in Discord.
So, and I know I'm the only one that's interested in it, but I just can't help contain the excitement. I have a playlist of like 60 songs I'm going to listen to when I start playing it, and just like putting that on in one ear. And like so I know what it feels like to get a remaster of a game that you really like. Like, I hope that you get to experience that with 007. And hopefully I'll get honestly, to experience the game for the first time. So, you know.
You know what? I may even like pull out my my EverDrive and play some GoldenEye X tonight after the podcast because I'm getting a hankering for it. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I'm sure that if it does come out, it'll probably be about $20 like Perfect Dark was. But if they wanted to charge me $50, don't tell them I said this, but I will pay $50 to have GoldenEye again. Like, especially with online multiplayer. And
Justin, I hate to tell you, you're gonna pay $60. If I'm taking a guess, that's gonna be.
You're gonna pay $70 when it comes out on PlayStation.
For real though, I've yet to pay for a $70 game.
Yeah.
I barely pay for $60 games, so.
Well, that is not the only bit of news that's N64 related. We did actually get the next N64 online game that is coming out. I believe it comes out on the 19th, so it'll probably be out by the time you guys are listening to this. Unless I was really good and I uploaded this episode today, Thursday, on my day off. But Wave Race 64 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. As one person online put it, the N64 Online is finally worth it. Like, it's finally worth paying for.
Complete with the Kawasaki licensing.
You know,
because I think when it came out on the Wii, I think they had to remove the Kawasaki license, but they got it back for the Wii U.
So I'm realizing my one gripe with these N64 games is they're not GameCube games, because my Wave Race was Wave Race Blue Storm on the GameCube. My F-Zero X was F-Zero GX on the GameCube. I'm realizing I was a GameCube child. I was born in 1991. I spent most of my formative childhood years in the 2000s. That was my era, guys. Those were the games that I played. Like,
see, now I've played both editions of both of those franchises, and gameplay wise, I prefer the N64 versions of them. But you know, I will say that the fact that all of the N64 games render at 720p, like, they're gorgeous. Like, yeah, of course they're low poly, but seeing those nice sharp edges, like, is beautiful. Like, the N64 games look fantastic on the Switch, and I can't wait to see those awesomely rendered waves on my big screen.
Yeah,
I am just excited for another 10 years when we do get like a GameCube online with like the Nintendo Pyro, and you know, it's like, oh neat, I could finally play Wave Race Blue Storm, you know.
Yeah,
should be Robo.
Wave Race was never my series, but I'm excited that it's on the Switch, especially it's going to have online support, right? So like you can actually play. Yeah, so like that's cool.
Yeah, I think they all do.
Really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I've been I've been dabbling with some of the Switch Online games again. I've been doing a little bit of Mario Kart 64 and stuff, so I'm excited for that one. I think it'll be pretty cool.
The only thing that service is missing now at this point is some kind of like matchmaking server where you can, find opponents to play Mario Kart 64 against, and not just have to rely on friends. I mean, of course you can go to like Discord or whatever and do it that way.
But that would be nice, really cool. Like random
nice to have
matchmaking.
Be nice to have that in game, So.
That, and I think that they need to work more on their online. Like, I don't know. I played, so like Steve and I, we have stories and videos and stuff of us trying to connect in games. I played Mario Party yesterday with a friend who lives down the street online, and it was flawless. It worked perfectly. When Steve and I try to connect, it's garbage. It's like it barely connects. And I don't think that that's just because Steve has bad internet. I have to assume that that's because, like Nintendo's internet is wonky, because it seems like it's always bad on Nintendo, and then we go to a third-party game and it's perfect. So I don't know. I don't really understand how internet works. I am a caveman, but I believe that they could make it better, and I wish that they would, because it would be nice to be able to play with my buddies.
I remember back in the day, even from the dial-up, like there used to be like matchmaking servers, like playing Red Alert. You used to be able to see the ping with the person that you were matching against. It's probably something like that.
You can do that.
I remember playing.
You can do that with most third-party games. Like, sorry, Justin, but like with Rocket League, you'll see like the ping up in the top corner to let you know how bad you are.
I remember playing, I think it was Quake 3 Arena on my Dreamcast on the built-in 56K modem, and it's amazing that I had as smooth of an experience back then with that, considering how many problems we all have with, this, 5G Wi-Fi service.
But you think about it, everything is just more complicated to transmit now. Back That's then true. There weren't as many polygons as you're having to like track or whatever, and send through the internet. It was just a little bit more basic.
Well, I think we can all agree, as much as we enjoy their games, out of the three big video game tech companies, Nintendo is probably the farthest behind with internet.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Nintendo's pretty much the farthest behind in most modern technology. Let's be honest, and they always have been.
That's true.
Well, we've talked about it before. The fun with them is the gimmicks and the IPs, right? You buy a Nintendo system because you want to play Zelda, you want to play Mario, you want to play Smash Bros., or you buy a Nintendo system because I can play it on my TV and then unplug it, and it's a handheld, 2 screens, a remote dongle to waggle my sword. It's like, that's the Nintendo lore now. So,
or get your grandma's on the Wii Fit board, and you'll sell another 10 million units or whatever. You
never know. You never know. All right, well, with that, like we said, kind of a dry cycle, but I'm excited to talk about Change the System. So I don't know if either of you guys has any particularly interesting thing you want to jump on board here with first. But
why don't you go first? You never go first, as you mentioned the last couple of times, so we're forcing it upon you.
All right, I'll go first. I've been playing games, and to make sure that I know the names of all of these games, I'm gonna pull up my Switch right now and look at my. Switch.
Wait, let me see. This is the bi-monthly state of Lucas's Switch. Let me see what it's looking like. Put it up to the camera there, buddy. All right, so that's okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Well,
it's a little. You can check that out.
Buy that boy an OLED.
Buy me an OLED. But yeah, no, so I've been playing a few games. I booted up Pokemon Legends Arceus, so I've been having a weird thing where I go to sleep at night at a decent hour, I sleep for a couple hours, and then I wake up and I can't go back to sleep. And that's been my life for like 2-3 days now. It's been rough. So I've been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus in the twilight hours when I'm trying to fall asleep. And I have had some interesting encounters.
Okay.
I caught a shiny Shellos, which was cool. The
what color is
version. That? It's like greenish instead of brown. It's not that good looking, but I caught it, and that was special. But then the pride and joy was I was out on a raid, and all of a sudden I see a shiny Hisuian Zoroark, which is the the big ghost boy. And I was like, oh my god, I gotta get that Pokemon. So I caught that Pokemon. And I really like, okay, so Steve was going for these guys and still is. I think one of his goals is get them before the new Pokemon games come out. And I was kind of like, I thought I was going to like their form, but I didn't really like them as much. I'm not that interested. I caught this guy as a shiny, and I'm like, no, purple and gray, like
that's where it's at.
It fixes all of my, because with the red, it really does look like he's supposed to be like bloodied and stuff, and it was fine, but it looked a little weird, like it looked off. I didn't like the way he looked. The purple and gray looks real good, so I'm really happy with that.
Nice.
And then today I was just wandering doing raids. It wasn't even a raid, it was just a random Pokemon in the wild. I found a Hisuian Sneasel, and it's a boy, so he's got the long feather. Yeah, he's like,
I need to bust that game out again, because I remember shiny hunting and that was just the best.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You just boot up, you go to an area, you see if there's anything there. There's not, you go back, you do it again, you keep doing it over and over. And yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's been a nice way to kind of kill some time,
Forgive me if I've already missed it, but when did Pokemon Home integration happen in this game?
Long time ago, but
it's already a thing.
When. Oh, it's definitely a thing.
Oh, cool. Because I have a bunch that I need to send that way, actually. So I should go boot that up.
I don't remember when it became a thing, but it was a while ago. How old is Pokemon Legends Arceus? Is it? It's not.
It came out in March, right?
Yeah,
it came out this year. Came out this year.
Steve's saying 3 to 4 months ago. It feels longer than that, but maybe like 5 months ago. Yeah, I think it was March, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, it's a good game. I really like it. For as much as I enjoy it, I've only put like 150 hours into it. It's not like most Pokemon games I'll put like 700-800 hours into, because I'm like, oh, home integration was 3 to 4 months ago. Game came out in January. That makes more sense. Thank you, Ghost of Steve. But yeah, no, it's not one of those games you can really like build like a competitive battle team. And I'm kind of hoping that the next one, Scarlet and Violet, will kind of scratch that itch for me, because, that's definitely something that I miss from the other games. But I really like this game. It's really fun. So, yeah, it's Pokemon. The other one that I put a lot of time into that just came out is Kirby's Dream Buffet. I really like this game. Like, I thought I was going to like this game when I saw the trailer, and then I played it, and I really liked it. It's very simple. It's basically like... it's kind of like Katamari Damacy and Gourmet Race from the old Kirby game had a baby. So the game always plays like the same way. And you can choose to do individual events, but I like to just do the Grand Prix against... I've only played against computers. There's a race. So you do a race, and along the way you're gulping down fruit, mostly strawberries. Occasionally other little fruits will pop up and stuff. And you're gaining a couple of abilities, and you're running down a course. And there's a few different courses and stuff. Then you do like a really little game where you grab a couple extra strawberries just for like kind of bonus fuel. And every time you eat like 20 strawberries, you puff up and you get a little bit bigger. And that gives you more like knockability. But it also makes it so you can't get under like certain obstacles. Like there's donuts on some of the tracks. And if you're too big, you just hit the donut and you don't go through the hole because you're, ginormous and stuff. So, so you're kind of like balancing out like, okay, how do I want to run this run? Then you do a second race, and then there's a like battle mode at the end that's like 2 minutes long where the computers will just wipe you out for no reason. So I've been really liking it. The game is loaded with unlockables. There's tons of colors to get. There's costumes to get. You can unlock music that plays while you're playing. There's different stages you can unlock, which is really cool. That's like, I just got one that's like a Kirby and his mouth like rotates as the stage and stuff. Like,
that's cool.
Really cool game. I really like this game. I have yet to try out online. I'm probably going to save my initial online experience for when I'm awake enough to do a video about it, because I kind of figure I want to play it at least once before this game dies, because I know this game will die. Because like there's just not going to be enough content to keep people here beyond like the 2-month mark. But I really want to get in a couple of fun online matches before then,
Right.
But yeah, I really like that game. It's really cool. It's really fun. The other game that I've been putting a little bit of time into is Monster Hunter Frontier Ultimate, which is a very old, like circa like 2007, I think, Monster Hunter on the PSP. And guys, I didn't realize
you found it. Okay.
Yeah, I found my old PSP. I bought a new charger for it because the old one was kind of bugged. I don't know if I ever told you guys this story, but when I got the PSP, the battery was completely dead. So I had to buy a new battery. but the new battery wasn't a perfect fit. So I had to slot foam into the battery pack to push the battery into place. And now it works. It's a real like rigged PSP, but I got it used. Right. So what you gonna do? But Monster Hunter Frontier Ultimate, it is like everything I loved about the old Monster Hunters on steroids. Like I'm running around and it's like, okay, you start out with a bone weapon. No matter what you start with, it's a bone weapon. And bone weapons in the game are by now they're like optional and like nobody uses them. They are usually a little bit stronger than the starter weapon, but they have like 0 sharpness. So every like 3 hits, you're sharpening over and over and over again. So I'm doing that. I'm running around. I'm like, crap, I got to bring whetstones. That's not a thing in this game. Then I'm like, okay, I want to make a new sword. So I'm using the long sword because I find that that's like the one that I'm best with. I'm like, okay, I need a new long sword. I need to get metal. So I need to go mining. So I grab my pickaxes because you need pickaxes in this game. I grab my hot drinks because I'm going to the ice area. And I run around for like a half an hour. And I'm like, there's no rocks. Where do I mine? Well, then I'm like, hold on a second. I saw weird little cracks in the wall. The mining spots in this game are just little cracks in the wall that you have to find. So I'm running around little cracks, mining, getting ore, making new stuff, making swords, making weapons, getting armor spheres to upgrade my armor and stuff. It is so old school, but I really missed it. Like
but old school in a good way, then it sounds like.
Yeah, like there's stuff about the new games that I really like. I think the thing I like the most about modern Monster Hunter is the combat is really fun. Like the combat in old Monster Hunter, a lot more boring, right? It's attack, dodge, attack, dodge. In Monster Hunter Rise, it's like attack, get flung in midair, wire bug dodge, counterattack with a special, throw down a bomb, throw down, that kind of stuff. You're not doing that in this game. It's literally just like attack, dodge, But it's just
very beat 'em up.
Yeah, almost very beat 'em up. Yeah, except that the monsters last for like 40 minutes. Although the early ones I've been fighting die in like 2 hits, which is so weird. Like I've never played a Monster Hunter game where they die as quick as they do. So I'm waiting for this supposed G rank difficulty that's going to spike up. But no, it's crazy. Like in rank 1 of the village quest, I'm on rank 2 now. In rank 1, it's all like gathering missions. And then there's like one mission where you're supposed to gather like pelts from an herbivore, and all of a sudden Tigrex shows up, and he's the big bad of this game. He's like the flagship monster on the cover. Tigrex shows up, and it's like, there's Tigrex, and sure enough, he like 2-shotted me before I could get away, and it's been hell. I did there's a monster called Cephadrome, I think is what he's called. He's like a little sand shark that swims around. And in the other games, bringing sound bombs is optional. And if you throw a sound bomb, he'll blast out of the sand for a minute and you can attack him. In this game, I went in without any sand bombs and he never left the sand. So I have to actually like prep for the hunt in order to go on the hunt. It's I understand why some people really prefer like the newer games because they're a lot more like, hey, just go out and do a hunt and come back and do another hunt and that kind of stuff. But I like the feeling of going into a hunt and saying, crap, I'm in the desert and I forgot to bring cold drinks. I'm dying of heat exhaustion. Like, this is on me. I didn't prepare for this right. Like, it's really fun. So I'm hoping that I can get all the way through this game. It's like a personal challenge for me. But I would really like to see this game through all the way because I really like Monster Hunter and I've been itching to play an old one. So after I get through this, I might want to go back into Monster Hunter 3. I've been talking to Steve about that, wanting to go through and play like my first Monster Hunter again. But yeah, it's been a good time. I've been enjoying it. And I think that is pretty much it. I did a couple of rounds of Monster Hunter Rise. I'm trying to get to... So we're at a point now, Steve and I, where we have, I believe, 2 quests left. And also a little DLC. The DLC came out. DLC was really cool, by the way. It added like a whole nother element of like, oh, you need to get these new items that all these new types of monsters drop. And they make a special type of upgrade that upgrades any armor or weapon to another level. So it's like now all of a sudden there's this whole other like gameplay aspect where we're like collecting like afflicted parts and making afflicted gear. And it's really cool. Like it really added a lot to the game.
It seems like the cadence of that game's like DLC has been really good, keeping you guys like really into it. So that's good at the very least.
Yeah, they introduced 4 new monsters with the first DLC. It was like a free DLC upgrade. I figured we were going to get 5 hours. I figured it was going to be like, okay, we'll do the 4 hunts and whatever we have to do to get to the 4 hunts. That'll be it. But no, it's like, okay, so now we're in the post game. You know, it's like this is a whole nother like game now, and it's easily going to eat up another 100 hours of gameplay. So it's been fun. I actually did have one other game I wanted to talk about real quick because I just started it, and I feel bad because Justin gave this to me like over a year ago. But I just started it, and it's Persona 5 Strikers, which is the Dynasty Warriors.
I'm trying to remember what the last game I gave to you was.
Yeah, and I think it was the last game you gave to me. But I've had this thing where I knew I was going to enjoy this game when I played it. And it's not really a dynasty. It's a Dynasty Warriors game, but it's not a Dynasty Warriors game. Like, there's not like missions and that kind. It's like a Persona story, but instead of it being a turn-based RPG, it's like an action RPG beat 'em up, you know. And you can switch between the characters in real time. So really cool. Like the first level, the first story, the first chapter is like as long as the first chapter in Persona 5. So I'm getting a lot of nostalgia and flashbacks and stuff. Some of the bosses really hard. Like there's these mid bosses you fight, and it's like it's Monster Hunter. It's like, okay, attack, dodge, 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 attack, dodge, dodge, attack, dodge, you know, that kind of thing. Just like crazy difficult. I was playing it. I had put like 5 hours into it in one night, and I was playing it and I died at the boss for like the 8th time, and I was like, okay, I'm not strong enough. I need to go back and power up, but I'm done for the night. So the thing on the screen said, where do you want to continue from? The last place you died at, the last checkpoint, or the title screen? And I was like, okay, well, clearly it saved my progress for me. I'll turn the game off. That was a mistake. That was basic, like, dumb first-year video game mistake. It did not save my progress. I am back at like the 1 hour mark.
No.
So now the challenge for me is going to be, when am I going to be bored enough that I want to play through the entire story leading up to the boss fight again? And that's going to be so it's going to have to be this day where it's like the TV's on, I'm into the show, let's grind out this level again. Because it's like the whole level I missed. I missed the whole. I went from being at the boss to investigating who the boss is at the beginning of the game.
So rough.
Mm-hmm.
I had something similar happen to me when I was playing Link's Awakening on my Game & Watch. I got all the way to the end of the game without dying, but then I died on the final boss. I'm like, well, I don't want that. I want the perfect ending. Yeah. So I went and reloaded my last save.
Yeah.
And because I've been using the save states for so long, it sent me back to the beginning of the second to the last dungeon. So I have to do Turtle Rock and Eagle Tower and I'm like, forget this.
I think Steve had the exact same experience, actually. I think he booted up his Game & Watch, and he was at like the second to the last dungeon. And yeah, he's saying exact same. Yeah, he booted it up again, and he was at like the second to last dungeon. He didn't realize he hadn't saved between that. Yeah, between Eagle Rick and the final boss. So yeah, it's apparently it's very easy to do. My game that I always used to do that on was Final Fantasy III on the DS version, because you could only save, if I remember right, you could either only save in the overworld or in towns. I forget which one it was. And I would like play the game, and then I'd be like, I'm fine, I don't need to save. And then Steve's saying overworld. Just be on the show again, Steve. Come on. And and I'd run into a tough enemy, I'd get killed because I did something stupid, like we all got petrified or something and we died. And then it's like, oh, you last saved 8 hours ago. And I was like, well, great. I guess I'm restarting this game for the 3rd time, you know? Like, yeah, it's not fun. But the game, Persona 5 Strikers, really freaking fun. It's so cool being able to, first off, get basically a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, because I loved Persona 5. And like it's just a sequel. Like it's just a sequel. All the characters are there, they all sound perfect, they all have new voice lines. So much of the game is voiced over. And getting to play as all the other characters is really cool, because you know it's a turn-based RPG normally. It's like getting to switch out and play as like everybody else that you used to just control during battles is like really cool. I would love it if this game did have like a arcade mode at some point, even at like the end of the game, where it's like
Right.
you can go to like Mementos and just like beat them up for like an hour and a half. Because I would love to be able to just like kick back and play, you know, this level with this character kind of thing instead of having to like go through the story. But right now, story's got me. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to restart that. And once JoJo's comes out, all of these games I'm playing will go by the wayside for a good month and a half. But yeah, I'm enjoying Persona 5. So once again, Justin, thank you. I'm sorry it took me so long. I have this thing with these games where I know I'm going to enjoy them, and it's like I'm not at peak wanting to enjoy a game mood, you know? And I get there for months where it's like, no, I just want to play something like Monster Hunter where I know what I'm getting and it's safe and I'm not gonna have to invest any like mental energy
I
or
get
anything.
that.
I just like games
Yeah.
sit for a very long time. It's what I did with Bug Story or Bug Fable or whatever. I liked that game. I really liked that game. I got through like a third of that game. Then I was just like, I'm not in the mood to experience something new. I want to go play Kirby Dream Buffet, you know, and that's where my head goes.
That's why I finished A Link to the Past last week, because
Yeah.
you know it's that comfort food, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't feel like committing to anything. I don't feel like learning anything new or you know,
Yeah.
grinding it, you know, banging my head against some puzzle or some enemy. I just
Yeah.
want to sit down and let the game happen to me.
Although I will say, I've been spying on you, and I did see you playing a little Metroid Dread this week.
Oh,
I-
did you beat it
I
yet?
have been. Not quite. I have arrived at what I assume is either the final boss or the, you know,
Describe it.
it's I just took an elevator up to the top of a spaceship. So don't spoil anything for me. I know how Metroid games are. The ending is not always the ending. So, you
I
know,
think I know what he's talking about.
I
Have you
think I
actually
know what
fought-
you're talking about.
Have you actually fought the boss that you think is the final
I
boss?
have
or do you
not.
just think you're about to be at the
Let
final
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a
I'm
question.
definitely
about
Did
to
you
fight.
did you just learn some pretty
Yes.
incredible Samus lore?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I know where you're at then.
You're getting real. You're
I
getting
mean,
real
more
close then.
or less.
Justin, I
was-
have to warn you. I have to warn you because I don't think you were here for this show. That boss fight broke me. It
It
hurt.
did.
It hurt. I did
I
that
am-
boss fight for like 2.5 days before I got it. So
I am playing in rookie mode.
okay,
So,
that might help.
So it's a little, you know, the enemies don't do quite as much damage, but they still like have the same attack patterns and everything. So
Yeah.
there have been a
Mhm.
few bosses that I really had to kind of work my way around. I also, before I went to this room, I made sure to go through and pick up all of the items that I could get to. So I got an extra like two or
That's good.
three energy tanks and lots of bombs
That
and
will help.
missiles.
That will help
Missiles
a
Yeah,
lot.
so-
are very important in that fight. I ran
in
out
just
of
about
missiles
every
during
boss fight.
Yeah. I ran out of missiles during a phase, and it made that phase much worse. So that's a boss fight. I can honestly say that final boss fight from that game, once you get it down, once you get the patterns down, it's not that bad. But I don't think I ever want to relive that. I don't think I ever want to do that boss fight again. And I don't usually say that. I don't think I
you know,
ever
and I have to
want to
say-
experience that again.
I have to say, like the boss battles in Metroid Dread are some of the best bosses in any
Yeah,
action
they're
game
good.
ever played, because I'm playing in rookie mode and they are still a challenge because you
Mhm.
still have to learn the patterns. You still, you know, every
Right.
once in a while get that lucky you know, counter move that
Mhm.
Yeah.
suddenly you know, knocks out an entire section of the battle. Like, so like even playing in rookie mode, it's a challenge, but they're the type of battles where once you learn the pattern, once you get your hand-eye coordination down, they're a breeze, but they're also something that you're going to bang your head against for at least, you know, a few game overs before you're like, oh, that's what you got to do.
The closest I ever got to that with another Metroid game was the Ridley fight from Super Metroid. When Dad and
That
I
one's
replayed
rough.
that last year, it's
Yeah.
That was
rough.
So yeah, like I found that most Metroid games prior to Samus Returns, the other one by what was Mercury Steam,
You're talking the remake of Samus Returns, right? Not
yes, not
yeah.
Return of Samus.
Yeah.
Samus Returns. Prior to that one, most Metroid games, there wasn't a whole lot of strategy involved. It was just, kind of shoot, dodge.
Yeah, there was a
I think
pattern, but it was a lot of like kind of almost
it was a lot of
randomized patterns.
Sure.
As
it
opposed
was
to
a lot
preset.
of, you just have to have enough health. You
Yeah.
just have to have enough health, you have to have enough missiles, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ridley battle in Super Metroid was one of the few early Metroid battles that I found that, oh, hey, if you can dodge just right, you can really wipe them out. But if you can't dodge just right, you'll get destroyed.
Dodge a dinosaur, you can dodge a ball.
So yeah, I feel like I'm really close to beating this game. I'll probably have it done by next podcast is my goal. I was going to have something new and exciting to talk about this week. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. So I don't know if y'all want to know what I was going to talk about, or you want to wait and save the surprise for next week.
Why don't you save it and then give the people something to pine over for next week's show?
I have a new toy. I just haven't been able to play with it yet because I'm missing an essential hookup for my TV. So instead of talking about that, and I also finally broke down and bought the Jurassic World or whatever the park simulator, Jurassic Park simulator. I bought that because it was on sale, and I'm like, all right, this looks like it could be a good time.
I hate to say, have you played it yet? I'm guessing you bought it on Switch.
Yes, and unfortunately, I found out that you can't just jump into sandbox mode, which is what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, that's true. It's better on PC. It like I watched somebody play it on PC and then I bought it on Switch. Yeah, as is everything. But it looks rough on Switch compared to PC. It's like no, it like I usually don't have that problem, but like the dinosaurs just look like really like polygonal and see-through, and it's like weird effects, and I don't know. It's one of the few games that I would say is definitively better on like another system than on Nintendo.
I know Cities Skyline got a lot of flack for not running well on the Switch. I haven't I've noticed it occasionally, like dipping in frame rate and polygon counts dropping, but it's never been distracting. So I'm hoping Jurassic will be about the same, but I am frustrated that I have to do the campaign in order to do the sandbox. That's annoying.
It might be the kind of thing where if you don't experience it on PC, you don't notice it on Switch. So maybe just stay blind to it and you'll be okay. But for me, I went from like watching Markiplier play it to downloading it that night. And it was like, oh, this is not the same game. It was like, this is a lot rougher than it was when I was watching him play it. It looked really nice. So, yeah.
Well, fortunately, it was on sale, so I didn't pay full price for it.
It's a good game. It's a fun game. I really enjoyed my time with it. I assume you will too. And there's a sequel now too, I think, actually. That's also, I think, on Switch.
Yeah, and I actually think one of them is on Game Pass, so I could have played it for free on that, but it seemed like the type of game that I would want to, play with while I'm watching TV. So
I get it.
So since the only game I've really been playing has been Metroid Dread, and that's old news, and the game I was going to talk about didn't pan out. I decided that I'm going to do a little unboxing. Got this in the mail today. So here's a little preview of what it could be.
My
those
Nintendo
of you watching the video.
store.
Yes. And
an umbrella and a wine glass.
This was the part that I was trying to show.
It's upside down.
Oh, well, it is upside down. I'm trying to look
Not
at
that helps us. I don't think any of us know kanji. But...
No, but I if I had looked at it, I would have known which way it was. I'm looking at it in the camera. Anyway, so here we go. I don't know if anybody wants to make a guess of what this is.
It is a binder full of Pikmin.
It is really stuck in here. Here we go. So There's your nice little Nintendo logo, and
Nice.
I had to have those colored buttons.
For those 99.9% of you listening to this show, Justin
I was
has
just about
purchased
to
himself
announce
a Super Nintendo controller, but the cool one with all the little colored buttons like I used to have as a child.
Yes, the Super Famicom Nintendo Switch online controller. I figure I'll have one of each, and you know, that'll be my thing. I really, after getting Lucas, did you see my Famicom Switch controllers?
I think I saw them in Discord. I think you posted an image of them.
Okay, I think I brought them upstairs as I showed them to you. But yeah, when I saw on eBay that I could get the Switch Online Famicom controllers for only like $10-15 more than it would have been to get the like NES ones off of, and I'm like, may as well pay the extra money to get the cooler looking ones that nobody else has. So that jump started my need to have all the Japanese controllers for my Switch. So since I don't have my super exciting new toy to show off, this is my super exciting new toy that I'll be showing off this week. And with
that's the last one I need for my collection.
I have an actual Super Famicom controller that I bought off of eBay years ago, you know, back when collecting retro stuff wasn't outrageously prohibitively expensive. I think it cost me like $15,
Sure.
But
you guys are just lucky they stopped making different controllers in the East once the N64 came out. I assume the N64 controller looks the same everywhere.
Yeah, N64 controller is identical.
Except for, I'm sure there's special colors that were probably released only in like Japan, or like a special Pokemon edition, I'm guessing, or something like that.
But nothing that you can get like on the Nintendo Online store kind of thing.
Right.
No, I do have one special Nintendo 64 controller that I didn't even know about until a couple of months ago. I can go grab that if y'all wanna you know, talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
I'll tell a boring story while Justin's doing this. Okay. Hi, people who listen to our show. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. So I bought another Switch. I always like to have two Switch chargers in that. Holy crap. I always like to have two
every other controller I own.
Switch chargers in the house, and one of mine died. It got all frayed and it stopped working. And I bought another one off Amazon, but because it came from the official Nintendo like store, it took like 2 weeks to ship, and I'm not used to Amazon taking 2 weeks to ship. So that was it. But I just got it.
That's weird. When I order from the Nintendo store, I usually get it within a week.
So Steve thinks that my
in New York.
Yeah, there you go. Steve thinks that my Switch is bad. He should have seen my Switch charger. It was so frayed that when I would hold my Switch on my stomach to play games, it would shock me. It would give me little tickle electrical shocks. Good. Yeah, so that's dead now and gone.
You can replace those things for like $20.
Yeah, but now I have a new charger and it works just fine. So, you know, it's all good.
So I don't know whether this was Japanese or not, but that is
weird.
And ASCII
I've
brand.
seen those. Yeah, I've seen those.
Controller.
ASCII brand, you say?
Yes, or ASCII. I don't know how that's pronounced.
We're just going to call it ASCII.
But it's got all sorts of, like turbo switches on it. It is an officially licensed Nintendo 64 controller. It's got a product number and everything. It's called the ASCII Pad 64. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, said I have never seen anything like that before. I must have it, and it was only like $30. So
you
know what's so funny about that?
Y'all know how much I love my nifty controllers that nobody else has.
Where else? I used to see those all the time at the flea market.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's where you used to see stuff like that.
You know what my absolute favorite controller of all time was? I loved everything. I loved the way it felt when you were holding it. I loved what it did for you because it felt so special as a kid. Do you guys remember the Wavebirds for the GameCube? The battery charged.
I have two, I think.
my favorite controller of all time was my Wavebird. Like getting that and being like, I don't have to plug it in. It was like the most magical experience of my life. So cool.
I missed the Rumble though. Like,
see, I did too, but I got over it so quick.
I did
when I could be
too.
like, boom, I'm playing Mario Kart.
Oh, see, not me. Not me. I had a Wavebird, and then I had a slew of third-party wireless controllers that included Rumble. None of them were quite as good as the official Nintendo, you know, Wavebird or the other controller, but I did have a Mad Catz one that came really close.
Mad
really
Catz
close.
was a good brand. Mad Catz was good.
Was it? I never heard good thing. I never heard anything good about Mad Catz controllers except for the Rock Band controllers.
I remember Mad Catz being like the closest you could get to like a third-party Nintendo controller that actually worked. That's my memory of Mad Catz.
For
Mad
me, if
Catz
it wasn't Hori,
was like. I never dug Hori until kind of these recent generations. It was always like Mad Catz or
yeah.
It was always like Mad Catz for me or Logitech even. Logitech made a decent pad back in the day.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm guessing that it's my change the system turn.
Believe
so I'm
it or
gonna
not,
take it.
yes. We are still doing a show.
It is time to talk about Elden Ring, my friends. I'm so close to getting all the achievements on that stupid game. Did you guys realize that there were entire sections of that map that I had not unlocked my first playthrough? I've seen things this second go around. I have seen things. I've seen bosses. I have seen entire new geography that I didn't even know existed in the game. Like new enemies. It's almost like my second playthrough is new game almost, you know, because I'm like doing a lot different things.
Would you say then that it's more I'm not trying to, this isn't like a subtle dig on Breath of the Wild or anything, but you know, this is like the comparison.
Oh no, I'm sure it's not subtle.
Is it more expansive, interesting, full of things than like the Breath of the Wild map? Because I feel like with Breath of the Wild, I did have a moment in Breath of the Wild. I remember playing it at like hour 300 and finding like a ski lodge mini game that I had never done before and being like, this is weird. Like I found something I've never seen. But I feel like most of Breath of the Wild's world I experienced in the first playthrough. Is that just because we spent so long in Breath of the Wild wandering the world and you like rushed Elden Ring? Or is Elden Ring just like there's all these nooks and crannies that just hide out with like, you know, like you're not going to find like a boss you've never fought in Breath of the Wild. There's 4 bosses and they're mandatory.
Right.
You know? Well, they're not mandatory, but they're pseudo-mandatory, you know. Actually, they are because you have to fight them in the Hyrule Castle if you don't fight them in the Divine Beast. So, yeah, but like, yeah, you're not going to find that kind of stuff. Help finish my sentence. Is that right? Or is it just that like you rushed Elden Ring?
Yeah, I would say so. Elden Ring is, for me, it's Breath of the Wild on steroids almost. You know, there's like a whole lot more to do, in my opinion. I mean, granted, it is on a, I mean, if you think about it,
much more powerful
the Switch is
system.
kind of like a, Switch is kind of like a beefed up Xbox 360 almost, right? And when I'm playing this game, you know, it was originally developed for, you know, it plays on the Xbox One, but that's still a generation removed from, you know, what we are playing today.
Let's not forget that Breath of the Wild also runs on the Wii U. So it's not even
also
the
true.
Switch.
Also true.
It's as powerful as a Wii U game, which impressive in its own right, but you know. Yeah. It'll be interesting.
So I would say that.
Go on.
I would say that it is definitely just by that standard alone, it's more expansive, bigger, like more stuff even because just the console is better equipped to handle it. I will say when I played on my Xbox One though, it was right. When I was playing on the Xbox One, though, it was not a very good experience. I would not recommend playing on a last-gen console, at least the Xbox One. Maybe the X is better. Maybe the PS4 or the PS4 is better. But when I started playing on the next-gen console, everything just kind of clicked. Like the when you die, you just load back into the game so quickly back into the game that it almost doesn't matter. Where on the other consoles, like I'm not kidding, like I was sitting waiting for like almost 2-3 minute load times sometimes. So like it was just not optimal. But I'm seeing things that I never saw before. Unlike Breath of the Wild, you're not required to beat all of the bosses. You do have to beat
Like
I don't remember exactly what they're called, but there's I think there's like 5 or 6 of the like big bosses, I'll call them, and you have to beat at least 2 of them to like advance in the story type of thing. So there's opportunities, obviously, if you didn't do all of that, to see some of the stuff that you know on the second and third playthrough. Maybe you go beat those other 2 or whatever. I'm trying to beat them all because, again, I'm trying to get all the achievements. But also I'm realizing that the world is just... It's a treasure to explore this world because I'm spending some time off horse now, just kind of like looking at every nook and cranny. I'm finding like illusionary walls that, you know, just lead into these random caves that lead into these random boss encounters that I wasn't expecting, you know? So yeah, there's just
that's
a
really
lot
rewarding.
to this game.
That sounds... I'd love to play this game, but I feel like if I'm gonna play a Dark Souls, it's gonna keep being Dark Souls. You know, like it's like I'd love to play, kind of like Justin was saying, I'd love to play this game without all the pressure of it being a Souls game. You know, it'd be a fun world to explore in the Breath of the Wild engine. You know, but not
in my opinion, this is absolutely the most accessible of the Soulsborne games, only because of the fact that if you're not... In Dark Souls, there's like 2 or 3 paths that you have to go through, and all of them are riddled with death and destruction. In this game, you can kind of go anywhere you want, and like if you get stuck... or like somebody's like really kicking your butt, like just hop on the horse and run away, you know, and then go find something else. It's not as I feel like the world isn't as it's still brutal, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit more forgiving.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind a little brutality, so it might be fun.
Sure. It's a fun game. It's obviously, you know, nobody's gonna be surprised that this is gonna be my game of the year at the end of the year. But it's absolutely fantastic game. But that's enough Elden Ring. I'm hoping that I'll actually be done, like 1,000 achievement points done this week, if not the next. But that's my goal. I want to get all the achievement points, and then I can move on to other stuff, such as some of these other games that I've been downloading on my Xbox and Switch. So, okay, where do I start? There was a sale recently where I was able to get Mario Golf for like $30 or something like that. So bought that, put about exactly 2 minutes into it, but that is a cool game. I don't know.
We're talking the Switch
one? The Switch one, yeah. No, I haven't had it yet. I never bought it before.
Wow.
Yeah, at $30, I was like, yeah, I'll buy it, you know. But at 60, I was still like, I don't know. But yeah, $30 did it for me.
It's still like my 3rd favorite Mario Golf. You know, like it's good, but it's not exactly what I want from a Mario Golf. So it's
the
fun
story
game.
mode. You know, the story mode is good. It's not like Game Boy Color good, but it's but like it definitely. My biggest problem with the story mode is it forces you to do the mode where you have to like run to the ball every time you hit it, rather than, you know, just warping to it like every other golf game ever. But aside from that, like you really learn how to play the game by doing the story mode. And
I didn't like the story mode. I didn't enjoy it, and I skipped it after a while.
Fair.
I mean, I find that I do more with the game by doing story mode, especially like the side characters who teach you new things that I never would have known that I could do if you know somebody didn't teach it to me. But
Yeah,
You know,
different strokes.
it's like
Yeah,
I said,
no.
it's not Game Boy Color story mode good. Like that was like the
And
pinnacle of Mario
Or
Sports.
Golf Story, even, honestly.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah.
I just found the free play less engaging than like old. Like it's like I can hum from memory like 10 tracks from Mario Golf 64. I can't remember a single song from Mario Golf on Switch. Like it's got more
Sure.
of a generic kind of feel to it. You know, it feels a little bit less full of life. You know, and that's
Yeah.
my
Well,
biggest
that's gonna
No,
be stuck
def-
in my head for the rest of the night.
And again, I've only put a couple of minutes into it, so my opinions could change. But what I
Kitty.
played of it was fun.
Yeah.
I just did a quick little. I don't even know what it was. I think it was just like one of the practice rounds or whatever. I think when you just first start up the game, and I was like, cool, that was enough. And then I turned it off. And then I moved on to other things. I downloaded way too much stuff this last week, and I don't know why. Another thing I downloaded because it was on Game Pass was the entire Walking Dead series, the Telltale series. So,
I have that on my Switch. I bought it when they were on sale like 6 months ago, and I don't think I've even booted one of them up.
and so I bought those just like, okay, cool, just something to fill up my hard drive with the intention of not really ever looking at it. And I ended up playing through the entire first season, I think it was, where with Clem and everything. And I'm actually excited to go into the second season, and then I think there's a third even. Because I never got to play the second season all the way through, so we'll see what happens, I guess.
I'm curious to hear if you fall off of that one because I really liked the first season. Never
Same.
played the second. Never played the second.
Well, neither did I, and I honestly, I just kind of got tired of waiting for the episodic, nature of that game, and then when it finally fully released, I just didn't give a crap anymore. Like I was just like, okay, I was other games I'm playing at this moment. But no, I'm excited to go back at this, especially for the price of free.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of feel like the first game does kind of present you with a nice ending point if you so desire it, so it's like you can play the first game and say, I'm done now. My story ends here, kind of thing.
I almost wish that they wouldn't have continued Clementine's story, and maybe I'm going to change. My opinion's going to change.
Just done like an entirely different story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
Another story in that same universe with some new characters. Give me some new characters to love and hate. That's what I kind of was hoping for. But alas, we'll see how the second season fares when I get into that one. What else did I do? I feel like I downloaded and played a lot, but mostly Elden Ring, mostly Pokemon. There was an event this weekend, Zigzagoon. I always want to say a Alolan form when it's the other form, but it's not a Alolan. It's Galarian, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Poke Expert. The
Galarian,
the Galarian Zigzagoon looks cool. It's a little red boy. I only caught 3 of them, and I was pretty pissed. I think it was like $1 or something like that to get into the event this time. Not that you had to pay to see the Pokemon, just to get like the tasks or whatever, And I'm there for the tasks. That's where it's all about. And it was fun, but they're getting real stingy with the shinies and everything lately. I feel. I think I've talked about this in the past. Plus, they have this other event going on at the same time for a. I don't know if I think it's does the new games have a new form of Articuno? Is that the...
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
There's all 3 of the legendary birds.
So in the new game, the Pokemon Go has introduced Pokemon from the new game. And
Sword and Shield.
Are
Articuno
we
is
talking new as in the ones that are coming out, or new as
No.
the newest mainline
No, those
game.
those ones won't come out for like 3 more years. That's how Pokemon Go do.
Right. Yeah. So those are in the game right now, but here's the catch. You have to use this new incense. They give you a daily incense now, and it lasts 15 minutes, but it doesn't really work unless you're actually walking around. So the more you walk around, the more frequent.
Sucks.
Yeah, right. But the more you walk around, the more frequent you see the Pokemon. So like after 5 minutes, you'll start to see, if you're walking around a bunch, you'll start to see just a bunch of those Pokemon spawn with the incense, because it has like a like a little swirl under the Pokemon if it's an incense Pokemon. Anyways, if you see enough of those Pokemon, or I don't know what the trigger is, it might just be random. The other Articuno, I've only seen Articuno, and I don't know if the other ones are available. I imagine that Zapdos and Moltres are available as well. But yeah, that's what I've been trying to do.
So
I've only ever seen one, and it ran away from me.
They pop in the wild then? It's not a raid?
Yeah, it just pops right into the wild, which is pretty interesting.
Actually gives me incentive to pick it up and try to play then. Because my biggest gripe with the legendaries is they're all raids, you know? And, you know, unless I can get you and Heather in a match, it's really hard to do the raids. So
yeah, no, it is an interesting concept. I just wish it wasn't tied. Okay, I wish it was.
The 15-minute timer sucks.
That sucks. I wish that they either gave you an option to buy that same type of incense or something, because in 15 minutes I want to play Pokemon. You know, I'm out playing for like an hour. You know, when I'm Pokemoning, we're out getting spinnies and stuff. 15 minutes ain't enough time.
Unless you're sitting on the couch and then it doesn't work. So like that's
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, Pokemon Go is still a thing. They're still getting my money. Niantic, send help. But that's pretty much it, unless you want to talk about all the retro games I've been playing, because I downloaded a bunch of those. I've actually been playing a bunch of Kirby games in lieu of playing Kirby's Dream Buffet, because I was like, oh, I don't really want to pay for this game right now. But Canvas Curse, I have a DS, and I haven't played that in a few years. So played that.
That's a good one.
Popped that in. Been playing Kirby's Dream Course, the best Kirby game that's ever been developed.
I like Kirby Dream Course. Kirby's Dream Course is like 800 times more fun when you play it with a friend. When you play it solo, it's kind of boring. When you play it online with somebody, it's like, this is a neat game.
My Kirby game, like the basic Kirby game, my favorite one, still the NES one, the original. Well, was the original Game Boy actually?
The original was Game Boy.
The original was Game Boy, but the NES one was the first one to introduce the copy abilities.
Okay,
so
got it.
That's really the one that defined what Kirby was. It was the first game with Meta Knight as his own unique character.
Yeah,
that's my favorite Kirby, because it still has a challenge. It's not like a baby. It's not a baby game, like I still have to actually try at that game. But it was so, especially for the NES, I felt like it was just so unique, so colorful. The music was just on point. Like it was just a good game.
Yeah.
That is probably one of my favorite games of all time, honestly. Kirby's Adventure for the NES, and the Game Boy Advance remake was really good too.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think I played that one actually.
My go-to will always be the Super Nintendo, just because everything I love about Kirby is on that Super Nintendo game.
Was that Superstar Saga? No,
Superstar Saga, and then they had Dreamland 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Kirby Superstar. That was like the compilation of 6 mini games.
Yeah.
And there was Kirby's Dreamland 3, which was like the crayon style.
That was the one I never played, which is on the Switch actually. You can play that one. But I love Superstar, man. You give me Great Cave Offensive, Milky Way Madness, oh god, so much fun. Good game. Kirby games are good. And then, of course, Kirby 64. Don't even get me started on Kirby 64.
I need to get started on Kirby 64. I haven't played it since it was brand new.
All right.
But, that's it for me. So, Lucas, I guess it sounds like you're about to close off the show. But before you close off the show, I want to say one last thing. At least here in New Mexico, there's a lot of stuff coming up, so get out there and go vote. There's some assholes out there. Don't let them win.
That's true. I think we already had our elections here in Florida. We turned in our ballots a while back, so we're good. But it's happening again. It's that time of year, so we got some stuff coming up in November. So just look out for the a-holes. Don't vote those people in, please. Look out for the a-holes. Good advice. Really, for anything you're doing, whether you're driving, whether you're voting, whether you're
especially pooping.
Yeah, pooping.
Playing games online. Got to watch out for them there.
You never know. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening, watching, Whatever you do, we appreciate it. We've had a couple of you comment on YouTube. That's cool. We like seeing you guys on there. So please let us know you're watching. We'll be back again next week with another episode. Bye-bye.
See you real soon. And stop.
Is muted right at the end.